Hey, it's your guy Tyrrell back with the interviews. Swansea, Southampton, one of them could stay, one of them's gotta go. Who would do it? How would they do it? This is the game that probably will decide their fate, but don't worry, here at the interviews, we've got you covered. So on this edition of the interviews, I'm gonna briefly break down Swansea against Southampton. Swansea, Southampton, a big game in the Premier League. Both sides looking to avoid relegation, but they had to win here. We get to the board. We got Swansea in the red. We got Southampton in the blue. Swansea in a 3-4-2-1. I know on paper they said it was going to be a 3-5-2, but it looked more like a 3-4-2-1 with Jordan Ayew up front, Andre just in behind him, and Klukas just in behind him as well. In midfield, they had Key and they had Andy King, and in their wing-back positions, they had Olsen and they had Roberts. For Southampton in the blue, also a 3-4-2-1. Charlie Austin up front. They had Redmond and they had Tadic just in behind him. They had Højbjerg and Romeo in midfield. And at wing-back, they had Ryan Bertrand and Cedric. What went right, what went wrong? Very cagey game with two sides playing the same formation. Sometimes it does come down to individual battles. What happened here was that Southampton did eventually drop off. They were the away side. They did respect the home side. They dropped off into what looked to be a narrow 5-4-1. They did this at Everton, and they should have won that game. And Southampton have played pretty well despite the poor results. Probably should have won against Chelsea. Mental lapse. Probably should have won at Arsenal. That didn't really work out. Should have won on the weekend. Here they had to win. Big game going to Liberty Stadium. They drop off in a 5-4-1. What we ended up seeing was that the fullbacks or the wingbacks were getting forward and they were pegging back Bertrand. And what we had here was the fact that the midfielders had to sit a bit deeper. What did Southampton do? Well, they did press from the front. They want to ensure that the Swansea center backs couldn't play forward out the back. They had to hoof it into obviously their end, and that was one big factor. And when they did drop off, they dropped off just ahead of King and Key, so they would have to play the balls out wide. King and Key, a great partnership in terms of an attacking aspect. You have King that likes to break forward. Key is very good in possession, but they leave a lot of holes in midfield. Then that left this to be on the hands of the wingbacks who didn't win their individual battles. Olsen never really got the better of Cedric. Roberts never got the better of Bertrand. And then up front, Southampton lacked goals. They lack a bona fide goal scorer or a trusted Premier League goal scorer that could poach efforts in out of nothing. Jordan Ayew did well in spells, often breaking into the channel. There's one time he dropped off in here, worked hard to pick up the ball when he probably shouldn't have, delivered a cross into the box that McCarthy had to push away. When he did drop deep, he often got past the midfielders. There was one time where Ayew was breaking in, but both center backs tracked the runs great and they made a last-ditch block. That was key. When we look at what else that Jordan Ayew did throughout the game was the fact that he's not good with his back to goal. Andre Ayew isn't good with his back to goal, so that was obviously an issue. There was one time where he drifted out to the left in the second half, cut by two markers, delivered a great shot into the box that I think was deflected, but it was pushed over the net as well. But from Ayew, they got whatever they could out of him. He did this also in the following week where he did everything but score, but he didn't really have any contribution elsewhere. Andre was a bit anonymous. Klukas was just looking to break into the box. There were times that as the first half wore on, he did drop off into midfield to make it a 3-5-2 because he couldn't get on the ball. He was actually involved in their best chance of the first half, and it came from nothing. A throw-in, King from deep. Obviously, Southampton is a bit deeper. Clips ball into the box. Klukas makes a late run across, nods his effort inches wide at the far post. But apart from that, they didn't really have anything going for them. Crosses out wide, non-factor. Even if they did get crossed into the box, who was going to beat the Southampton center backs that are pretty tall and have a height advantage over the Swansea center forward? So that was a big issue for them, and they struggled throughout in that aspect. They brought on Tammy Abraham in the second half. They took off Olsen. They put Klukas out there. Well, obviously, Abraham brings something different. He drops off a bit deeper. There was one opportunity where he drove at goal and probably had a good chance to score, but he didn't. But besides that, Swansea didn't really have anything going for them. It's been their issue throughout the season. What they could rely on was their defensive prowess that Carvajal brought to that side. They didn't see that here. They had the onus to go forward. That was the big issue. We look at Southampton. What they did very well was the fact that in this system, when they eventually got onto the ball, what happened was that the center midfielders sat a bit deeper, and they allowed these players to get forward. So when they pushed forward and got these players back, what ended up happening was the fact that we'll get everyone back into their shape. What happened was that they relied on these players to drop into narrow positions. They relied on Tadic to get on the ball, hoping that he could deliver crosses or slide in through balls into Austin. There was one opportunity where he dropped into the space. No one picked him up. Austin runs across the defense, but he can't control the ball. But that was one sign. Southampton's best chance in the first half obviously stemmed from this as well. It's Redmond dropping off, picking up the ball, combining with Højbjerg, who does drive forward and slides in Austin, who again makes that run across, fires his effort on goal that he probably should score, but Fabianski saved it. And that was where they were going with that. Obviously, what that hinders is that they couldn't really get anything going forward out in wide positions. Cedric and Bertrand are very good, but they are much better when they combine with other players and are able to break beyond the lines. However, that didn't really happen in the first half. Cedric did create two great chances from the wide areas where he delivered a cross into the box that was flicked on, and it fell to Austin, who fired an acrobatic volley on goal. And there was another opportunity in the second half where he delivered a cross into the box. That was not an on goal. But what changed for Southampton? What pushed them over the edge? They made proactive changes. They brought on Gabbiadini. They brought on Shane Long. They moved to a 4-4-2. What that ended up doing for them was that we'll push these guys back, get them into a 4-4-2 right here. And what that did for them was now they had wide players. Now they had Long out wide. They had Tadic out wide. With Tadic moving out wide, what it does is that he likes to move in. It brings Bertrand forward and vice versa. They combined on a few occasions, didn't create any chances, but it was from that area that earned the corner kick that led to the goal. The other difference is that Shane Long, very offensive minded, likes to break off the line, likes to work hard just like Charlie Austin. And with Gabbiadini up front, it gave Austin some support, because although he had those alternatives deeper, he didn't really have anyone with him to work hard and put pressure on the back three. That's what happened here. You look at the goal, all three players are involved. Corner kick, Long nods it in from the back post to Austin. His shot saved. Gabbiadini pokes the rebound in, and that's where Southampton won the game. They just have a bit more talent. Tactically, they offered more variety in their movement, and they were very good without the ball and stifled Swansea from creating any chances. But let me know what you guys think. Meet me in the comments below. Don't forget I upload videos every day, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And that was your daily dose of the interviews.